This is Allison Fay of Jacob Wetterling Resource Center, one of the programs of Zero Abuse Project, joined today by Taylor Lambrecht from the BCA. And we're going to talk about some of what the BCA offers to families in Minnesota. So Taylor, thanks for being with us today. I only have a few questions for you. The first one is, what can the BCA offer if a family is in over their head with an online concern happening to their youth?
Well, Allison, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Some of the things that we can offer is we always tell everybody that comes with those concerns to first and foremost report them to your local police department. From there, we always say, please do not delete any of the evidence or pictures or conversations that might have been shown on those devices. We always say maybe like ghost that person that's communicating with that minor or that child. Maybe block them, but do not delete the evidence. And then the other suggestion that we give is giving a cyber tip to NETMIC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. On top of that, we also provide an educational coordinator position, which is myself, that provides education to parents, students, schools, law enforcement, social workers, along with resources for that as well.
We at Jacob Wetterling Resource Center are getting more and more calls about sextortion. Can you talk a little bit about what sextortion is and how the BCA helps?
Yeah, so sextortion is kind of a new hot topic. It's always been there, but it's been definitely a topic of conversation that has come up more frequently. It is sextortion is a form of sexual exploitation where a child is being threatened or blackmailed by a person who's demanding either more additional sexual content, sexual activity, or money. They're using their images or requesting images from them.
What should a family do if their young person is being extorted sexually online?
Yeah, one thing that I always say is always build that trust and rapport prior with your child. Having that understanding, having open lines of communication is very important. One thing that a lot of the special agents see is parents are taking phones or devices. We say not to do that because once you do that, that child's not going to maybe tell you the next time it happens or if something similar happens. That's kind of their line of communication and their world. So we always say have rules around phones and devices. Does that look like you're taking your phone at night? Does that look like maybe you're using your device in a common area where there isn't any secrecy? Are we limiting the time on screen time? Are we having monitoring devices or apps for parents monitoring their children and what they're doing on those devices?
Is there anything that you would want families to know about the BCA's role when it comes to online safety?
As far as the BCA's role, like I said earlier, we always tell everybody to contact their local law enforcement. If needed, the BCA is a clearinghouse for all the cyber tips that come in through NETMIC. If something is deemed that is in a higher jurisdictional level or something that the BCA gets involved in, we definitely have resources like myself or resources available for schools, students and also parents to make sure that there's open communication, how to solve maybe those in-house questions or like when people don't understand that this is maybe happening to a lot more people than just them. Also, NETMIC and BCA they work together. And so I always say to everybody, make sure that you're going to NETMIC, making sure that there's resources there, that they're the specialist on this, that they can maybe refer you to a therapist as well. The other thing I always suggest is the BCA is also in collaboration with Safe Harbor of Minnesota, and Safe Harbor has regional navigators that can guide you to specific services that you may need.
What kind of trends are you seeing at the BCA with cases like this?
We are seeing a lot of perpetrators asking for the minors to switch over from different platforms. Maybe they're messaging them on social medias. Maybe they're messaging them on gaming sites like Fortnite, Roblox. The leading social media that we are seeing high in tips is Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok. So what they're doing is through the gaming's platforms, they are having them go over to WhatsApp app, Kik, maybe Instagram. And then they're moving that conversation from that area to another area. So there's multiple traces of conversations that we need to follow. The other thing that we are seeing is gender really doesn't matter. I think there's a lot of misconceptions that we see that it's young girls being perpetrated on. It's also young boys. And on top of that, we are seeing a lot of athlete boys being perpetrated upon. One reason being that there's fake female accounts that are being duped. From there, then they are scared to maybe talk to their coaches, talk to people outside of themselves about what's happening. They don't want the rumors going about. Also, maybe they're trying to get to a higher level of an athlete role, and that follows them, and that can hurt their career. So those are some of the trends that we are seeing within Minnesota right now that are probably the highest ones.
I can agree with you that most of our calls about sextortion right now are from young boy athletes and from their families. That's what we're seeing with our calls as well. And I think there's that shame part of feeling like that they've done something wrong and it isn't their fault and they should be able to ask for help. And yeah, all genders are impacted. So thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that we all need to keep in mind, including parents, is it's not the child's fault when this happens, that it can happen to anybody and it can happen to us working in law enforcement. So, and us all knowing about it. It happens to anybody and everybody. It doesn't discriminate. So. And
you're not alone. You're not a bad parent if that happens to your family. Reach out, ask for help.
Absolutely.